I've been waiting to show you this, or to catch this sort of situation, and to recommend a channel that you should watch. Now watch these boys. Look at these young boys. Blow your own, mate. Blow your own. Blow your own. Anyway, I did decide in the end. Hey, I blew the horn. Yeah. Isn't that just fantastic? When the boys do that, look. And that's our next generation of truck drivers. Yeah, we need to get the young boys of today interested in truck driving. There are some coming through, but they're already in the industry. We need to get young boys into truck driving, I want to be a truck driver, see? All the three of them, blow your own, mate, blow your own, mate. Yeah, because you can't always blow it in the right place, and it might be misunderstood by somebody else, but I gave him a blast on the horn. Now, the biggest supporter of this is Trucker Tim. Now, I'm going to show you Trucker Tim and why you should support and watch Trucker Tim, because he's the biggest advertisement, the biggest encourager of the next generation of truck drivers coming through, because we need thousands of young boys to want to drive trucks. We need them. We absolutely need truck drivers. So let me recommend a channel for you to look at, and it's Trucker Tim. The whole industry knows about Trucker Tim, and he's evolved to being who he is now. It's not what he was when he began, but you know, his channel has grown, and as you can see, there's lots and lots of people for him. But the reason I support Trucker Tim is he's an advocate of bringing the next generation, of turning boys into men and wanting to do an honest day's work for an honest day's pay. Yeah. Truck driving is that. Obviously there's ups and there's downs, and there's good days and there's bad days, and sometimes it takes a while to get to where you want to be. But we need to encourage boys to be boys and do boy things. We need to bring the next young generation and get them interested in trucks and get them wanting to get into the truck industry, or else otherwise you've got no one left that's going to move this stuff around. Yeah, we need to get more of the next generation interested in the transport industry, because it is a absolutely massive industry. The transport industry is, and there's so many opportunities, but you can't take, you know, with insurance and with health and safety, or you can't put your kid in the cab and take him with you. You used to see young boys go with their dad in the truck. I didn't come from that path. I was almost fated to be a truck driver from when my youngest story was, at one time my parents had, now I would have been, I'm 66 this year, but I would have been probably 8 or 9, I'm guessing. And at that time my mother and father had a chip shop. It didn't last very long. I don't remember it lasting very long, but the chip potato man, the man delivering potatoes, used to come to the house, and outside where I was born and bred, there was a very slight hill, and apparently they were outside, and obviously I would be in the cab sitting, pretending to drive as always, and the driver left the key in and I started it. Yeah, and then there was a big panic, you know, get him out. He started it. And I think that's my youngest memory. My uncle had a farm, and he used to buy trucks, and then he was a contractor, so he would get a rigid, he would cut the cab off, and he would turn the back end of it into a trailer to move hay around. They are my youngest memories, but I've always been interested. Whenever I could pick a lift off with the truckers, my mother used to take deliveries, and the guy that used to deliver, Bill, I think, was I think he came from the Manchester sort of area, came into North Wales, and he would come to my mother's house, drop off what he had to do, and then he would go off and do his deliveries. But I always had to come past the house again on the way home, and I would go and deliver cheese. One of his drops were, "Have you got any cheese on?" "Yeah." "Are you going to Buchelly?" "Yeah." I was living in Carnarvon, well, Pontrieg, and I'd go with him to deliver the cheese, and then he would drop me off on the way back. When they were building Dinorwic, the power station, I used to hitch a lift off the trucks to go to work in Penygroes, Alphacast at that time. What happened, part of that power station job, they had their own individual road. It was an old railway track, and they turned it into a road where the quarry wagons just use it for them. It was a haul road, an old railway track that they converted just to move stone from the quarry to the construction site, which was 10, 20 miles, whatever the mileage was. It had its own haul road. I used to get a lift with them and go in. I can't remember. I think the one was a Leyland, and I think I'm trying to remember way back. One was a Leyland, and the other, I think, it seemed to have in my head Scammell, and a name Intermake, the firm. That's all I can sort of barely remember. And they'd pick me up at the end of the road. I'd go out with them for the day because I was on their way out and on their way in, and then I'd go with them all day and then come back again. So I was fated. I've always wanted to be a truck driver. I was fated to be a truck driver. This was my thing in life. And yeah, all right, coming to the end of my driving now, but we need young boys. We're not training, or we're not encouraging enough boys to do boy things, to man things. Truck driving is a proper, honest job. You go and do a day's work and you get a proper day's wages for doing it. And if you get the bug, you're cab happy, and you clean it and you polish it and you look after it and you enjoy it. And one of the biggest advocates for that is Trucker Tim. Yeah. And he sort of, if you go right the way back to when Trucker Tim started, he used to do little films on lockdown where he worked for, and it became what it is now. So what you see now isn't what it began as. But Trucker Tim has had so many of the next generation interested and, want to be truck drivers. And that's what we need to do. We need our young boys to want to be a man and do a man's job. And that is truck driving. Yeah, I know there's women coming into the industry now, and that's fine. But yeah, we need to somehow get the next generation of drivers in and interested and enthused about truck driving. And Trucker Tim is the biggest advocate of it. So let me recommend Trucker Tim to you. Give him a look. Go way into his past with his older videos, and then you'll find out how and where he's become and what he is now. Yeah, fantastic. I've been watching Trucker Tim from the very beginning.